Just Riff. Good morning. Today I want to talk to you about Supro Delta King amplifiers. I left this amplifier on for 3 days and it started glitching a little bit. When I took it out to play it, it dropped volume and then it would come back. So I thought I damaged the tubes. I bought some JJ tubes and put them in here and had the same problem. I took them out, put the old tubes back in and have the same problem. Did a little research and found out that the heat could possibly damage the volume pots. So today we're gonna open her up, clean the volume pots, put the JJs back in, and see what happens. If anything, you'll learn how to change tubes. So stand by and here we go. To start with, you'll need a Phillips screwdriver or a cordless drill with a Phillips end, and you'll want to take all these screws out the back. Once you get all the screws out, note that they're not all the same size, and put them all somewhere where you're not going to lose them. Keep track of where the long ones came from and short ones came from. It'll be pretty easy to figure out when you put them back in. And let's pull off the back, just like so. Put that aside. Let's reach in here and carefully disconnect the speaker plug. There you have it. On the back side, you'll have your reverb plugs, which we will do in a second. Use caution with taking the back off. It's only these top 2 screws that hold it in place. So hold on, set the amp up, hold on. Disconnect these 2 top screws. And this is your amplifier head now. Take it out. Disconnect. Kind of hard to do. Just set it down. And disconnect the reverb. Red goes to red, white goes to white. Now you got your head out. And no, that tube's not burnt. That's what they call a blackened glass tube. And that's just the way they look. They got a black color applied to the inside of it. Pull both your tubes. This is a 12AX7, also known as an EC803. I can't read that. It's a 12AX7. This is a little JJ. And this is the stock tube that came with the amplifier. Your internals. And I'm gonna figure out how to blow some contact cleaner in that volume and this master volume over here. The tubes I'm removing are these tads. As you saw, one of the JJs was already in there. So these tads are the original tubes. I'm gonna put those aside. And these two JJs are the ones I'm going to put in that amplifier. From what I read, that 6V6 should do a fine job of replacing this 6V6 GTB. We're going to find out. Well, surprise, surprise, here comes my little beggar squirrel to see what I'm doing. He says, hey, while you're fixing that amplifier, you think you can throw me a couple of peanuts out? Little important note, I'm going to use CRC electric contact cleaner. It's safe for plastic parts. Some of these contact cleaners will just melt your electronics. Anyways, shake it up, and I'm going to spray out those pots in there, that volume pot. And then I'm going to go at the rest of these. So one more shot right in that hole. Turn it. I did notice something funny here. All these have a nice snug feel to them, except for this volume, the one that's acting up, and it just turns really easy. Worst case scenario, I think I might have to replace this pot. Look at that. Can hit it with a little air. Alright, we're going to have to give my little buddy some peanuts. Is that, we got some peanuts for me? Okay, I know some of you guys were waiting for this, but yeah, look, there's the gloves. Here's the new power tube. Here's an alcohol wipe. 1, 6. And we will take the alcohol wipe. Wipe down all those oily, greasy fingerprints on the tube, because they can cause premature tube failure. You'll end up with these big glue burnt fingerprints on your glass and the tube will fail. And they got a little 616 pin post right there. I don't know if you can see it. Yeah. You look for that in the hole where you're going to plug it. You line that pin up. And you go right in there. Wide. Make sure it's seated good. Now I'm taking that little JJ. Cleaning it up. And this one's a little different where it has, I don't know if you can see that, it's got an even amount of pins and it has a gap right there. And you look for in the hole, you'll see a pin socket that has a gap, and you line up the gap with the gap in the pin socket. Jiggle it around, make sure you're not off. Give it a nice firm little push. Make sure she's seated. Do another wipe. And we are good. Retubed. Supposedly this amp self-biases, so there's no tweaking and tuning to do. And that's it. Now we got to put it back together. You know, we're not all professionals, but you can save a lot of money if you do it yourself. You know, and if you don't just do it yourself, you'll never learn anything. And of course, there's going to be those guys that complain and don't like what you're doing or tell you you're all jacked up. And if you've got something to say to me about this, just leave it in the comments and then everybody can read it. So I got the reverbs hooked back up. I've got the speaker plugged back in the back. And then I'm going to flip this thing up and put the 2 screws in. See you there. So without touching the tubes, I flip this back in place. I left these 2 screws hanging. So I'm just going to tighten those down a little bit. Grab it. And I can feel if they're in there. So I'm going to get my screw gun. Snug them back up. Got my clutch set kind of weak so I don't strip anything. You can do this with a Phillips screwdriver. You don't have to have fancy schmancy tools. And there, she's back in. She's plugged in. The tubes are in. Put the back on. Gonna go plug it in and cross your fingers and hope it works. If I have to replace that volume pot, that's not going to be fun. I got to remove the circuit board and get that pot out of there. It just doesn't look fun. I think if that was the case, I'd still give it a shot. And if I got hung up, I'd take it down to the electronics shop and have someone help me. Let's take the back. Make sure you got it the way it goes. Super sign up and hole for those. Cord down here. Oh yeah. Let's pull the cord through that lower one, yeah? I like that. Press that in there, get your screws, line them up. Make sure they're in the right spots before you cinch them all down. Okay, so it turns out the long ones are 1, 2, 3 long ones. They go on the bottom. All the rest of them are short. That makes sense because it's going into the chassis. You don't want to drive a big old long screw in there and right into your electronics. And then we'll take these and cinch them all back up. They're all back in. Now for the scary part, we're going to take it downstairs and we're going to plug it in. And we'll find out. Did I destroy this amplifier? Nah, I don't think so. But I might still have the same problem because of that volume pot. Seems to be working. That was a little glitch with my cord. That's my cord. Otherwise, I think that amp's working fine. Wow, I'm so out of tune. Anyways, I think it works. Call it good. If I have any more problems, I'll replace that volume. And that's how I change tubes. So there.